The Democratic Alliance launched its economic manifesto in Johannesburg today. In a briefing earlier, leader John Steenhuisen described the past 30 years as being like a rugby match. Steenhuisen said the ANC's first 15 years in power had a good trajectory, but the second 15 years were catastrophic. Newzroom Afrika's Juniour Khumalo is at the DA briefing. Juniour, the DA leader John Steenhuisen has now fleshed out the how of that economic plan that was mentioned in their manifesto launch. What is the how, Juniour? How will they be creating all these jobs?
Indeed, Masakekana, it was a very thorough analysis of what the economy has gone through over the past 30 years by the DA, led by its leader, John Steenhuisen. He pointed out that the unemployment rate in South Africa is the one single crisis that the country needs to really deal with. We know that the unemployment rate stands at about 2.1% from the fourth quarter of last year. And there are over 10 million South Africans who are capable, who are not able to get employment. And the DA has been very specific that this is one challenge that it seeks to address through its new policy. But the how is going to be addressed by the DA's Shadow Minister of Finance, Mr. Dion George. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. How are you going to address this challenge of unemployment? The DA has promised to basically create about 2 million jobs. How are you going to do this?
Well, as you said, I mean, being unemployed is a huge crisis in our economy. I mean, we've got people that are full of life and they're excited about having a life full of meaning and are just unable to find a job. And we need to fix that. And the way you do that is to fix the environment in which we are operating. What we have at the moment is we've got a government that's got in the way of our economic development and growth, and therefore got in the way of jobs. What the DA is proposing is that we need to restructure our economy. It doesn't happen overnight. There are no silver bullets. But what we need to do is to look at those key parts of the economy where we have policies that are not working. So, for example, we need to look at the labour policy. We have a crushing labour environment. So what we're proposing is that for younger people in particular, between the ages of 18 and 35, they would be able to get a certificate. If they have not been employed for the past 12 months, they would be able to get a certificate, and then they will be able to decide for themselves what conditions they would be able to work under. So in other words, they'd be able to price themselves effectively in the market, because at the moment, our minimum wage is too high. And what's happening is it's preventing employers from employing people. So we want to fix that in the short run. Also, what we want to do is to look at the structure, for example. So if you look at fiscal policy, the tax regime in South Africa, why is it that our people who are bright and young and full of ideas, why are they not able to become entrepreneurs? And why aren't businesses thriving? It's because government hasn't got conducive policies. So we believe that we need to change our industrial policy. Instead of government picking big winners and thinking it can actually generate jobs when it cannot, is what we need to do is to make it easier for people to start their own business, for example. We need to make it easier for people, for businesses that are already operating, to operate in our economy. So, for example, tax concessions, tax breaks, etc., as we've said in our alternative budget that we have every year. Also very important, we need to look at trade policy. What we need to do is we need to encourage people to come and invest in South Africa. Why? Is because when people invest in our economy, then we can create jobs. We've lost 1 trillion rand in foreign investment in our economy over the past 10 years. And we can fix that. And we believe that's one of the low-hanging fruits to fix. Because what we can do is, if we have a different government after the 29th of May, we would be able to say, South Africa is under new management. We have a different way of doing things. Our economy is going to get open, and it's going to become easier to operate in it. And that will spill on over onto jobs. So the fundamentals are the things that we're looking at. For example, we need to tackle corruption, because corruption is an issue that prevents people from getting jobs. Because if the system is corrupt, it doesn't work. People won't invest in it. So what we're saying is we need to fix the environment. We need to have a government that is focusing on growing jobs and getting people into employment instead of sitting at home. We need to do that. Instead of having a government that thinks it's okay to just hand out a grant and that will be enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not acceptable. So the DA has a plan that we believe we can implement very quickly and create at least 2 million jobs in the short run.
So what happens to the plan if the DA has to go into a coalition government then?
Well, we don't know what the numbers will look like after the election. So we'll have to see where we are and, of course, what unfolds. But should the DA not be in government after the election, well, then we will continue to be a sensible opposition. What we will do is every single year, as everybody knows, we have our alternative budget. We set out our alternative. And we say that it doesn't have to look like this. It can look different. And if the DA has the levers of government in its hand, what will we do? And we'll be sensible, because it doesn't just happen overnight. And you can't just, for example, get rid of grants, etc. That's complete nonsense that anybody says that that's what we want to do. No, what we want to do is we want to get more people into jobs so that we won't need to put so much pressure on the public finances, so that there's more money available, so that we can have better education and healthcare and policing, etc. So that really is what you're looking at, is the economic ecosystem. That's what we've been working on for a long time. So we have plans, we have the will, we've got the political will to roll it out. Now we just need the votes, of course.
Okay, thank you so much. That is the DA Shadow Minister for Finance, Mr. Dion George, saying that the DA has the plans and they have the will to roll it out, but what they need now is just for South Africans to go out there and vote for them come the 29th of May elections, Masa.
Juniour Khumalo reporting for us live there at the DA's Economic Manifesto launch in Johannesburg. Thank you for that.